Hello, Wankers.
What's up, Vankah?
What's up, Vankas? This is Vankah Hours with Guenther Steiner coming at you every single Wednesday. Be sure to hit that subscribe button right now, because where else are you getting Guenther Steiner's reaction to the most exciting race in the history of Formula One? Right, Guenther?
Right. Absolutely. How can you be wrong, you know?
What a beautiful birthday present that was for you, Guenther. Guenther, happy birthday.
Thank you very much, you know. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Being congratulated to get older. Yes, you really care.
You gotta find the shit lining and everything, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. And I got a nice shirt. What do you think, Matt? You like my shirt?
Yeah, I love your. I appreciate your shirt. I said you had a nice shirt on earlier, and you looked at me suspiciously. Why is it so hard for you? You think to accept love?
I don't trust the love from you, Matt. You know.
Well, we all consider what love means. Why don't you hit that intro music, baby? Let's spin it and get into this.
No Fox smash, my dog. I'm gonna fucking Steiner and I'm back for more. No Fox smash, my dog. I'm gonna fucking Steiner and it's time for.
And we're back. This is Vankah Hours, brought to you by BetMGM, the Japanese GP. Gentlemen, let's begin. Guenther, should we start with Max?
Yeah.
A million Verstappen?
Yeah. He was good, though. I mean, what else can you start than with Max? I mean, he won the race on Saturday. He won the race on Saturday by putting that lap in. And the Saturday was race day, a little bit like Monte Carlo. Saturday was race day in Japan. To do that lap in Japan, it's Max. Nobody else can do it.
Now, people compare that to a Senna lap of the gods. Where do you put it? Is it a lap of the gods, lap of the demigods? Some people are saying it wasn't that special. Where do you put it?
I think you cannot compare Senna time with the times we have got now, you know. But it was something special to go out there, beat the McLarens, which are obviously the best car in the moment. I mean, we don't have even to discuss that one. And he just goes out there. And I think Japan is one of the racetracks where a driver can make a difference. And it's very little in the moment you need to make a difference. I mean, it's like if you're 10s faster, but I mean, Max was a few hundreds faster, you know, and he's in P1 and made him win the race. But that's in him. And he said it, you know, he was, well, how did he say it? Because he didn't want to get the fine. I was pooping myself, you know. So it's like, and if Max is pooping himself, that means he was going for it, you know.
Yeah.
The guy knows what he's doing, you know. So, I mean, yeah, he made a difference. I mean, I don't want to compare it because what Senna did at this time was outstanding. But that what he did here, I just can relate to it because we all watched it, or most of us. I hope everybody.
Yes, I hope everyone watched at least that, because the rest of it maybe they could have skipped. But what do you think this race means for the larger battle for the 2025 championship? Do you think that this race is maybe an outlier for the championship, that Max a few times this year might prove his greatness? Or do you think that Max really has a shot to challenge the McLarens? He's only 1 point behind Lando.
No, I think in general it means this was an outlier. He can win other races if he's given the opportunity. You know, next one will be Monte Carlo. I think he will be very fast there. I just think the McLarens in the moment, if they stay like they are, they're just in a better position car-wise, you know, Lando and Oscar.
Why do we keep doing this? We did this last year. I was sitting right in this same chair last year. You guys were saying, oh, they got the better cars, McLaren's year, the championship's wide open. And it wasn't. Okay, it wasn't. Red Bull's bringing upgrades. And what do you think about this, Guenther? How about I just drain on your McLaren parade even more? What do you think about this flexi wing that they're clamping down on race 9? If Max can just hold on to the upgrades and the flexi wing clamp down, is McLaren screwed? Are they screwed, Guenther? What do you think of that point that I just made about the clamp down and the upgrades?
You don't know what you're talking about, So, but you all know that, I don't think the flexi wing. I mean, they were given time to fix it, and they're not sitting still and say, "Oh, we take the flexi wing away and do nothing else." They try to find advantage somewhere else. Once you've got that advantage, it's pretty easy to continue. Not easy. Nothing is easy in Formula One, but relatively easy to keep the advantage. And I just think Max is a good driver, but the car is not what the McLaren is in the moment. And I think he said it himself. If I would be in a McLaren, I would win. I would have no doubt to tell you guys who's winning the World Championship if he would be in a McLaren. The guy in the moment is so good. The guy is so good, he cannot do anything about it. And the other ones are not. They are no fools. I'm not saying that they are bad drivers. It's just like this guy in the moment has got everything going for him, He has got the confidence. He has got the skills. He puts the work in. He just wants to do it. And he's riding the wave.
He's riding the wave. Okay, so you think that this is how many miracles do you think that Max can pull off this year, though?
I will pull a few off, but in general, it's just the other ones have got a more solid base. It had came out. Did McLaren make a mistake? Could have Oscar challenged Max? No. No. In my opinion, he couldn't. Max was just in front there. But even if Oscar would have gone close to him, he couldn't overtake him. He didn't have a delta to overtake him.
I'm betting that he's winning the championship. I'm going to bet.
Yeah, Matt thinks that we're all sleeping on Max Verstappen, that he's winning the championship. I think it's going to be Lando. We all know what Guenther thinks, that it's going to be Oscar Piastri. It's okay. I'm putting words in your mouth, but that's all right. That's
all right for you. Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
It's interesting that you talked about that Max won the race on Saturday, because Fred Vasseur was in talking to the press after the race, and he said that this season is maybe turning into a Saturday season, that because the cars are now, it's hard to pass not only this track, but the cars at this point of the regulations, it's very difficult to pass. The cars are so close that it's actually going to be a qualifying world championship. Do you agree with that? That it's a symptom of the cars, not just the track?
It's the tracks. I mean, there is 2 tracks outstanding: Japan and Monte Carlo. I mean, it's like when we saw it, because, I got up at, I think it was 1 at night, to watch the Grand Prix. I got to bed at 22:03, and I didn't know why in the fuck I did get up, because it wasn't worthwhile to get up for, So in the end, sometimes you have to do what you're doing, but it's, I think qualifying will decide a lot of things, but we also have to see. I want to speak a little bit about tires here, because I think the cars were running at very fast during the race. They were not managing because the tires were holding up. So now again are the tires too good? Because if the tires, you can go flat out all the time, nobody's degrading. Where you start, if you haven't got a delta of 7, 8 tenths on speed, you cannot get past, because the tires are all the same. So it's very difficult to find, I wouldn't say a culprit, that's the wrong word, but a reason why it's not happening. I don't think that we will see something like this until we get to Monaco again, like we had in Japan. But go ahead, Matt.
Do you think they could have gone a step softer? Do you think that would have helped Pirelli?
I think they could have gone softer, like in China. But then again, what you then get from the people is like, oh, we had to go slow because we had to manage the tires. And then you have again this battle, It's just like whatever you do with the tires, you cannot fix it with the tires, in my opinion, anymore. Because everybody knows now how they work. If they are degrading or if they are graining or something, you manage. And the guy in front obviously has got the best chance to manage, because he has nobody. He can manage his own speed. He doesn't have to go to anybody else's speed. So very difficult to do. But I think they could have gone a little bit softer. But then again, we would have been so fast, slowly going, because we did already have a track record in Japan again in qualifying. So it's like,
Matt was saying that he had read that in the earlier part of this regulation set, like in 2022, that the dirty air actually wasn't as bad. But now, because of the advancements of the cars, the dirty air is back. So the regulations they've kind of figured their way around the regulations. Is that kind of what's happened?
Yes, absolutely. That is what you do. To find downforce, you have to go. You will create dirty air behind you. If your cars go faster, you will create dirty air. And I mean, you will never. You can never avoid to have dirty air behind an F1 car, because
Right.
it's a car. I mean, it's and if you put wings on, obviously you create dirty air. But all the other gimmicks they put on to create vortexes, that will create dirty air, and you will never avoid that one. But that's part of racing F1 cars.
But it seems in 2022, for like 30 seconds, when Ferrari and when Leclerc and Max were like had shared a pace that they could really go at each other, and then of course, if we could get the car parity closer and get rid of the dirty air, then we could have something. It just seems like such a narrow window to hit. But that there was that one great moment in Bahrain when we were like, "Whoa, the regulations worked!" and then Max is off to the races. But how do we get that?
It's almost impossible to do, but I mean, you can regulate how the cars look, and they did a big step in 22 with that car, for dirty air. I mean, but then obviously the teams evolve, and the regulations didn't evolve. The regulations stayed the same. So when you see the air getting dirtier again, or the car getting affected by the car going in front of them, you need to look into why is that happening and manipulate the regulations. Maybe. I mean, I'm just saying ideas. I'm not the president of the FIA, by the way.
Well, if you were, what would you do? What would you do?
I would say to my technical people in the FIA, hey, keep an eye on it, and if we need to change, we will make proposals to change, because we are getting there where we didn't want to be, But instead, we complain about the driver swearing, That is more important than dirty air. So,
do you think that next year with the smaller cars, do you think that they will that this will be a solve maybe for a track like Japan where it's so narrow?
No. I don't. I think that in Japan will always be difficult. It's so narrow, and the other thing is there is no overtaking area. If you see, because also the DRS, it doesn't work, because in turn one you go flat out, you don't brake, as Mick Doohan realized. It doesn't work. So, but it's like if you cannot overtake there, you are flat out into turn one. I think next year will not be flat out with the smaller cars in the beginning, but the cars they will go in 1 or 2 years. It will be the same again. It's evolution, and it's the right thing for Formula One to evolve within a regulation. Then you have to change the regulation if you don't want evolution.
I think you meant Jack Doohan.
Did I say Mick Doohan?
You said Mick Doohan.
Hey, it's a shadow that's hard to get out of, and he's feeling that right now.
Sorry, Jack.
Let's
Hey,
talk.
leave it in. Mick Doohan left the DRS open, and Mick Doohan went into the ground.
I don't know if Mick Doohan would have done that. I don't know if Mick Doohan would have done that. Let's talk a little bit about McLaren. The other, they were right behind Max. There's some talk about obviously Lando and Oscar switching places, whether Lando was really actually trying to win that race, or whether he was okay with his P2. What are your impressions from the McLaren team after that performance?
My impression is it's difficult to do something different, because I fully agree. Oscar could not have attacked Max, and then you just create yourself a problem by going by. And if you say Lando didn't try to win the race, I don't think that's true. I think Lando just didn't know. Couldn't do it, because he was behind. He didn't have the pace to go past him. So I don't think he. We could see on the pit exit that he tried to get past him, but it didn't work. So it's like, for sure he tried, but it's not easy to get past there. So and swapping, the swapping would have worked, but Oscar could have never passed on his own means Lando.
Mm-hmm.
So he would have, but then you get to Max. Why you think he could pass Max? I think it was just like it was what it was.
What do you make of the that pit lane moment? Was kind of the only exciting part of that entire race. I mean, that race was a snoozer, other than this one moment where grass is flying up. But obviously, when you watch the onboards, Max did not push Lando off. Do you think that was purely Lando saying that for the stewards?
Oh yeah, he was trying it on. He knew it will not. He will not get legs. But you try it. I mean, what have you got to lose? It's a comment you make.
Right.
It doesn't cost anything. If it isn't, there's no negatives to it.
Well, besides like almost losing it in the grass and losing the race, I was wondering. People in the comments were saying, in our comments, we're speculating, Guenther, that if he had, instead of trying that soccer dive, if he had just slotted in behind Max, like tip to ass, and just chased him, he would have been in the DRS range. And maybe, Max has got cold tires. Maybe he could have tried something. Do you think that would have been a more viable strategy than the flop?
I think Lando saw an opportunity in doing what he did. He actually tried to get past him, and then the other one was too late to get back to it. So
Right.
sometimes you have to pick.
Right.
What you want to do, and I think he just said, "I tried to go on the inside and tried to beat him out of the pits."
Mm-hmm.
And obviously he didn't, and then he couldn't go back to the other one. So I don't
Right.
think he focused on doing that one to get his advantage there. What we have
Right.
got better than Lando in the moment is hindsight.
Of course.
That's right.
2020.
Speaking of radios,
2025.
speaking of radios, I want to talk about there was a lot of ink spilled on Leclerc's radios, Albon's radios, Lewis's radios, and I guess my question is how much of when you hear Leclerc's radio or Albon's radio, as a team principal, at what point are you like, dude, enough with the attitude?
I mean, I think Leclerc and Hamilton were not too bad, in my opinion. What they complained about. I mean, Alex was like about the gear shift. Obviously, he was pissed. He was like,
no, exactly.
guys,
That was the part.
Yeah.
But Leclerc, it's every week. He's like, they're like asking him to do something. He's like, I already told you, you said that before, and shut up. I'm not going to do it. Like, it's always like that vibe. It's always like prickly. It's very prickly.
You think it's almost a comedy. So you can imagine if it happens every week, nobody cares. It's like,
Right.
I tell you what I think. You can tell me what you want. Don't tell me afterwards I didn't tell you. It's like.
So it's not that deep.
No, it's not that deep. I think I just tell you what my job is. If you don't like it that I tell you, just don't listen to me. Do what you want.
Vankahs, this episode is brought to you by BetMGM. Come see what's new at BetMGM. Score bigger when you win with boost tokens, odd boost tokens, and more. Even if your bet doesn't hit, we've got you covered with no sweat tokens. Sign up with BetMGM today and you'll have access to countless betting options, including new look, same game parlays, teasers, live bets, and so much more. Take advantage of these offerings and be sure to use the bonus code DADDY when signing up to receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. This is an exciting season. Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, who's going to finish? Who's going to win each race? Where's Yuki Tsunoda going to wind up? You can bet on all this with BetMGM, so do it today. Use the bonus code DADDY when signing up, and again, receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. See you out there, Vegas. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and over. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY for New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Indiana. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code DADDY and get your $1,500 first bet offer today. Okay, well, let's talk about Albon's radios because it feels to me like Albon's been sassy on the radio before, but that felt like it was the most sassy I've ever heard him. And do you think that there's a little bit of like I'm the one leading this team right now, so you're going to shut up and listen to me?
Could be. We don't know what happened in the team about the gear shifts, maybe.
Yeah.
So you never know. But I obviously, as you say, Albon is more the person which is very well-spoken, very calm all the time. I was quite surprised myself how fiery he got about that one, and he didn't shut up about his gear shift, He continued to tell them. I mean, the engineer was like, it's a little bit like Leclerc says, I know that you told me, but I don't care. The
Right.
engineer said, I hear you. I cannot fix it now, buddy. It's
Right.
like, we will. But so... It's. I was a little bit surprised, and then when he was critical about the strategy, nothing happened anyway, but he was very, why did we do this? Yeah, but what do you want to do? I mean, it's like, whatever we do, you will end up where you are now.
Right. But do you feel like is there a larger Williams, because James Vowles was making such a song and dance of getting Carlos Sainz. Like, you can't imagine that all of the attention, all of the press, all of James Vowles' attention seems like it was just only on Carlos Sainz. All the money that he's got to be making more than Albon. And then Albon's over here now, 3 weeks in a row, outperforming the golden boy. You think there's a little bit of resentment there?
It could be, or it could be, again, just thinking, thinking loudly.
Yeah.
Maybe he's negotiating his contract now. And as you said, it's like, boys,
Tactic.
it's tactic as well, I mean, it's a good tactic. I think if it works, it's like you have to try. When you need to be ready.
Have you ever heard a driver negotiate on the radio? You're like, that's a negotiating tactic for his contract. Where he's like, wow, this car is shit. I'm just driving. I'm on the absolute edge here, Guenther.
Oh, they all do. Oh, I mean, it's and if they have a chance, they do it. I mean,
do you notice the radios change before and after negotiations are over?
I wouldn't say you notice, but for sure they think about it, I mean, why wouldn't you? And he's doing a good job. You need to give him that one. In the end, he's performing. Yeah. So he needs to make people aware of, guys, I'm not here to play, Mr. 20% of the other one,
Right.
I want the same slice as the other one, of the cake.
Have you ever spoke to a driver?
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yes. Have you ever spoken to a driver about their radios, or never? Not one time.
Yeah. I mean, you always speak with them, but they don't listen to you anyway. So, but that's part of your job, I mean, James will have spoken to Albon afterwards, but I mean, I guess Fred has spoken to Leclerc numerous times.
Right.
It's like,
Doesn't
He
work.
still does the same. He still does the same shit.
Yeah.
You have to be careful that it doesn't get worse, Sometimes you achieve the wrong.
All right. I think we should move on to our favorite segment. This is Gas or Brake.
Max Verstappen is the greatest of all time.
Brake. And I tell you why. He hasn't won 7 championships.
He thought about it, though. It wasn't straight on the brake. He thought about the gas.
It was a
slow
braking. It was a slow braking. Yeah, it's like.
Okay, go on. Because he hasn't won 7.
Yeah, he hasn't won 7. He won 4. And he still needs to win, but he's very good. But otherwise, if we make him the greatest now, we have nothing to expect anymore from him. So we need to wait.
I see. You're still dangling that carrot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do you have an opinion? Because if 7 is the number, obviously there's Lewis and there's Michael. Do you have a thought on the two of them? Do they sit equal in your mind?
They sit equal in my mind,
God damn it, Guenther.
I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that last part. Do they sit equal in your mind? I gave him an out.
Yeah. You gave him an excuse. Yeah.
All right. How about this? Gas or brake? Michael Schumacher is the greatest of all time.
Wow, you put me on the spot here, you bastard.
That's why we could. This is why we conceived the whole game, just to fucking box you in.
Brake.
Gas or brake? Lewis Hamilton is the greatest of all time.
So now you have to say the older driver.
So no one's the greatest? What is it, Fangio? Who? Come on.
I don't know him yet, the greatest.
Okay.
You haven't.
He's yet to come.
He or she have yet to reveal themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
The sword is still in the stone.
He or she has still come. Yeah, exactly.
Excalibur has not been removed yet.
Exactly.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. All right, Matt. Gas or brake on Max Verstappen, greatest of all time?
I'm doing a slight.
Come on, man. I mean, don't drag it out here.
You dragged it out. We're gonna have to cut all that dead fucking space that you had. A slight feathering of the throttle, I would say.
Okay.
He's flirting with it. He's really flirting with it.
That's not an answer.
I mean, it's.
I had to come to a conclusion.
You're the king of non-answers. I don't need to. That's pot calling
That's
kettle
I
black
had to
status.
come to a conclusion. You know,
Mhm.
I'm feathering it. I don't know really. Yeah.
I'm saying he's flirting with it. I'm feathering the gas. It's not full gas. I'm slowly stepping on the accelerator.
So you're going through the red light because it's like either you brake for a red light or you go full gas. There's nothing in between. So you're in between. You go through.
I am idling
yeah.
through the red light, and I might get crushed.
Yeah, you might get crushed. You might lose your license, but you don't care.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
All right, I am pumping the brakes on this. I'm pumping the brakes. Let's slow down. I think that he's on his day. He's right up there with the rest of the boys. But to me, Schumacher, Hamilton, they're right there. I'm still going Schumacher, and if Hamilton gets that 8th, then he is solely in that position. That's where he lives. We'll see if Max Verstappen can get there. He's still very young.
So you're putting Schumacher over Hamilton? You're putting Schumacher
I'm
over
putting
Hamilton?
Schumacher over Hamilton.
Oh, because he turned Ferrari around, which is impossible.
Because he turned Ferrari around, and and hey, let's see if Lewis Hamilton can do that. Next
Hello,
question.
Fred. Hello, Fred. Did you hear, Matt? You cannot turn it.
Yeah, Guenther, how are we with that interview request?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Matt. Thanks, Matt, for upsetting Fred. Now, yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Well, he fucking knows it's hard. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
no one knows better than he does.
He's not having a great time. All right, next prompt.
McLaren should have swapped Oscar Piastri for Lando.
Break. Guess nothing would have changed, except they would have created a lot of what do you call havoc in the team. Nothing else. Go back, go forward, let him try again. No, they knew. Andrea Stella knew. Even if you let him pass, he cannot get to Max. He cannot get past Max, put it this way. So
I am lifting my foot and I am slamming it so hard on the gas, it's crazy. Just slamming it on the gas. Because you know who didn't know it? Oscar didn't know it. Let him find out for himself, because he's going to be thinking about this, wondering about this, and none of us knew. Lando had his chance. You ever watch wrestling? You ever watch tag team? Another guy, that's what the point of the two guys are. You give each guy a shot. When one guy gets tired, you tag the other guy in. What is the point of having two drivers if you can't tag team?
Because you cannot overtake in Japan. Can you not understand that? If he would have done this much better, he would have overtaken Lando Norris without the help of the team.
This was
I am also
section.
going.
You had your chance. You had your chance to make that argument.
I am going full break. Hey, if he couldn't get by Lando, what chance does he have getting by Max Verstappen? You think that guy's easy to pass? I would much rather go against Lando Norris in tight quarters in a McLaren than Max Verstappen's in a fucking Williams in Japan. Let me tell you that much. Next prompt.
McLaren copying Red Bull's pit strategy shows they still aren't thinking like winners.
Gas. You couldn't do anything else. It is as simple as this. It sounds boring, but it is what it is.
Wait, it's a break, isn't it?
That's a break, then. They still aren't thinking like winners, is the prompt.
No, they're thinking like winners, but you couldn't do anything else. So it.
You couldn't have. Well, what people are saying is that if they had kept Lando out, that obviously the undercut wasn't going to work. But the only thing that you maybe could have helped is that Lando stays out in clear air, maybe gets one lap or two, and tries to close that gap, as opposed to
overcut.
Following Red Bull's strategy gives them no chance at winning. It means
Villeneuve said it was stupid and that they were losers. Basically, that's what he said.
That they weren't thinking like winners, because if you copy Red Bull's strategy, then you're not even trying to win, really.
But if you know that it doesn't work, so who is right? I mean, you cannot call somebody stupid if he knows exactly what he's doing. That even by overcut, you're not any faster because he cannot go faster. Yeah, you can try it, but if you know it doesn't work, so why would you risk anything else to lose even more? I mean,
but would it have not worked if he was in clear air? Would the clear air not have helped him at all?
I don't think so. He could have been faster. I mean, They know more than we know. I mean, they knew how much he was going on the limit, you know. If he wasn't on the limit, then yes, but I think they knew that he was on the limit anyway, and he couldn't do anything about it. That's my opinion about it. But again, nobody has got that information except the team. But because I'm pretty sure if he was not on the limit, they would have kept him out. But they knew he cannot go any faster anyway, because he just can keep up with Max. So even if you get him out in fresh air, he's not any faster. His tires go down. Obviously, they had nothing on the other side. They had nothing to fear from behind, because I think they were already 7-8 seconds in front of the Ferraris, correct, at the time. So
Yeah.
It must be one of the moments. Maybe I fell asleep a little bit, you know. So
Okay.
I'm going full gas. They were conservative. They needed to be aggressive. They were playing with house money. They had nobody behind them to worry about except for their own teammate in Oscar Piastri. Good luck getting that position back if you fuck it up. And I also think that they're more concerned with the Lando and Oscar dynamic, and they're trying not to upset that apple cart, and they're trying to keep that nice and neat because they don't really see Max as a threat. I mean, that's kind of my assessment, is that they're like, man, if we don't win this, it's not the end of the world. We just really can't have another Hungary fucking situation. We can't have that. Let's just bring it home, the 2-3, and not have a headache, not blow it.
I am going full gas as well. They could have at least tried it. Lando was complaining about some dirty air stuff. They could have at least given him a shot. But who knows, Guenther? You might be right. They might know more than me. They might know more than my dumbass.
Nobody knows more than you. Nobody knows more than you.
I just think that we've seen them with their hesitant strategies before, and this was a little bit concerning to me that they just went with what Red Bull did. That's my concern. That are they ready for a fight if Max Verstappen, if these upgrades happen and he's in that title fight with the other two McLaren boys? I'm a little bit concerned by that. Vankahs, I wanted to take a moment and thank our partner Race Weekend. Race Weekend are the champions of F1 culture and design, and we want to take a moment to talk about their premium coffee table magazines. RQ1 explores F1 culture, design, and fashion from the 1970s to today, and the subscription is a must-have for any Formula One fan. RQ1 is the only F1 magazine to do original photo shoots, leaning in with legit stylists, models, and photographers to create truly unique looks. Race Weekend also sell vintage F1 merchandise on their site from the fashion shoots. It's really an amazing magazine. The actual magazine is massive. It's really like a statement piece for your home. If you want people to know that you're an F1 fan, if you want a little piece of like what is sexy about F1, that's what Race Weekend is. It is just, it's a statement piece for any Formula One fan, so you got to subscribe. There's no ads in the magazine, just a ton of beautiful images and great stories. And you can get your RQ1 subscription today by going to raceweekend.co. That is RACEKWND.co, and use code REDFLAGS at checkout for 10% off your RQ1 subscription. The discount will also extend to your overall order if you want to grab some of their vintage merch as well. That is RACEWKND.co, and use red flags at checkout for 10% off your full order RQ1 subscription and anything else you want. Get yours today. You gotta have it. Vankahs, I have to tell you about this game-changing product that I use before a night out with drinks. It is called Pre-Alcohol. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It is this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough mornings after drinking. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly and you'll feel your best tomorrow. I have used ZBiotics before. I will use it again because it actually works. I am in my 30s now and I want to keep having fun nights of drinking with my friends, but not if I wake up hungover the next day. ZBiotics does the trick. It's like a shield of armor. You got to try it. So go to zbiotics.com/Vankah to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use Vankah, that's Vankah, at checkout. ZBiotics is backed by 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Spring is here, which means there's more opportunities to celebrate warmer weather before drinks on the patio or a tropical vacation or your best friend's wedding. Don't forget ZBiotics pre-alcohol. Drink one before drinking and wake up feeling great the next day. Remember, head to zbiotics.com/Vankah and use code Vankah at checkout for 15% off. Next prompt.
Kimi Antonelli's performance in Japan proves he's worth the hype.
Full gas. He did very good. I mean, nothing more to say. And, it's like he was as close as you can get to George Russell. We all know George is a good driver, so very good. Very simple. No arguments, nothing.
I'm going break.
Whoa.
I'm going break. I'm going break. I think he's a very good driver. I think it's obvious he's getting very close to George, which is incredible. But all these records, the records are stupid. The youngest guy to ever lead a race because of because they left
because
him
of bullshit, because of bullshit.
Because of bullshit.
Yeah.
And like the youngest guy ever to have a fastest lap. I mean, I just those are kind of sort of circumstantial records to me.
We didn't discuss. I mean, I agree with that one with you. They're circumstantial. They just happened because he was in that place, because the fastest lap, because he was on the newest tire, the last. I mean, It's pretty simple to do.
But they're pasting his name next to Max Verstappen, saying, Max was this many years and this many days old when he did. Ergo,
but you're bringing this one up,
and I'm like, this is stupid. It's stupid. He's a very good prospect, but none of these records mean shit.
I didn't say that the records are full gas. I said what he did in Japan was full gas. So
what impressed you about his Japan performance? Because
how
he still
close he
finished
was
behind
to George.
How
close he was to George. Close he was to George. So that impressed me. And he had a clean weekend. He did a good race, good qualifying, just delivered. And he's still a rookie, 18-year-old. That is why I give it all that other bullshit, as Matt said. The fastest lap and leading a race. Who cares? Nobody.
I am hitting the brakes on this as well. I think that he might be this guy, but he's coming in with so much hype that until he starts beating George Russell in a real way, then I'm not crowning him as the next, the second coming yet. I think that we still need to see more from him. I think that it is impressive what he's done, but we've also seen people can come in, have a good few races. I mean, they gave Liam Lawson the Red Bull seat after 12 races, and then we've seen what can happen there. I mean, I just think it's a little bit early to start crowning him as this, the LeBron James of the Formula One world.
Or
I think it's a little too early for that.
Or are we never going to see a Lewis Hamilton performance against Alonso again because there's no more testing? He's had a pretty extensive testing program in old cars, but
he has.
Like it used to be.
It's in old cars, I think that will not happen soon anymore. Something like Lewis and Alonso, when this guy's debut. We're in a different era. I mean, as much as Lewis is still around, and Alonso is still around, when that happened was a different time in Formula One.
So we just to expect. Even just getting close to George is incredible.
Yeah, and then obviously next year he will be judged if he beats him or not. If he keeps on being second to George,
Right.
I mean, he will run out of road pretty quick at Mercedes.
All right, next prompt.
Yuki Tsunoda's performance in Japan is a step in the right direction for Red Bull.
Go on the gas, but slowly,
Okay. Go on.
I think it was the right step. But my expectations, because I rate Yuki pretty high. My expectations were a little bit higher for him in Japan. I mean, if you think what Hadjar did in the Racing Bull, it's quite impressive. I mean, we don't have to forget about him. So I expected Yuki to be more on the ball. I mean, obviously he messed it up. He lost it in qualifying like everybody else who didn't get in the top 10. He couldn't do anything about it anymore in the race. He can do whatever he wants. And that we go back to what we said before. The McLarens couldn't take the Red Bull anymore. Whoever it was, that it is what it is once you're in the race. But, he started off pretty good, Yuki. And then from FP1 onwards, it didn't go forward. It went backward,
He was great. I'm going full gas. Full fucking gas. He was doing pretty. He was on it in free practices. He was right on Max. He was right on him in Q1. He made one little mistake on Q2. They put him on a bad tire strategy. And this thing about, look at Isaac Hadjar. Yuki qualified P5 or P4 or where. I think he qualified P4 last week, and he got screwed on strategy. The only reason Isaac Hadjar had this splashy finish and Yuki didn't in Racing Bulls is because the strategy at Racing Bulls is comical over there. Usually, they finally put it together. They put together a weekend this weekend. Good for them. So I think that this was... Everyone's saying Yuki's debut was kind of disappointing. I think this was he was not struggling with the car like Liam was struggling with the car. This is a solid foundation. Sergio Perez was out in Q1 all the time. Okay, this is a great foundation.
Yeah, I'm going gas as well. I think that Yuki P12 is fine for a first race in this car that everyone says is impossible to drive. P12 is fine as long as he can keep making steps and get into those Q3s and put together some points. I think it's a perfect step in the right direction. Now, I have a question for you, Guenther. What do you put this on? Because I know that he had a way different setup than Max. Like, he had a huge rear wing as opposed to Max, who kind of came in with basically no rear wing. Like, do you think this was a setup situation, that Yuki was just on the wrong setup, or do you put the blame on Yuki himself?
I mean, the setup, the driver decides what he wants, especially with the wing level.
Right.
If he felt more comfortable, if he didn't feel comfortable with the low wing level, you cannot send somebody out, because then he will crash. Because it's very difficult to handle. So I wouldn't blame him on that, because it was his decision. And I would say I just expected more from him, and normally he should be able to do more. I mean, obviously qualifying went how it went, and then in Japan, if you don't do qualifying right, we all know how it ends. Actually he did better in the race, because I think he overtook a few cars. Huh? He moved a little bit forward.
He gained 2 points. He gained exactly 2 positions.
Which is a miracle on that track. Now I guess
I think you're a big Yuki fan, Matt.
What makes you say that? What makes you say that?
You're a little bit opinionated then, yeah.
Yeah. Now I have a question though. If you have a young driver, like let's say a Mick Schumacher or an Ollie Behrman at Haas, right? And they say, I'm good with this wing level. This is this is like very little wing, right? They want to bring a Monza wing to a Suzuka, right? Like Max. And they're like, yeah, I think I could gain a lot of speed on the straights. Are you ever like, well, hold on there, buddy. Maybe put a little extra wing on for you, just as a little bit of a safety net. Is there never any team intervention? I guess my I'm wondering is if Red Bull maybe put a little extra wing on him to buy him a little extra grip, help him out a little bit.
Yuki knows exactly what he wants. Yuki's quite a good driver now, experienced. He's now in his 5th year. Obviously he discusses it with his race engineers.
Yes.
But the decision is his, how much wing level. Nobody tells Yuki which wing level to put on.
Okay.
That's right.
He doesn't need that anymore.
That's right. All right, last prompt.
Lewis is regretting his move to Ferrari.
Break. Jesus Christ. I mean, we had only 3 races. I mean, he won 1 race. He won a sprint race, so wait
Jesus,
a moment.
Now I know you're reaching. Now I know you're fucking reaching.
Yeah.
All right, you don't think he think there. Okay, Matt.
I'm going full gas. He's regretting this. The car full gas. Full gas. How do I say full gas in Italian, Guenther?
Accelerata.
Accelerata. Accelerata. I'm going full accelerata. And because it's been 3 races, the car is slow, and the strategy is bad. Double whammy. You can't have bad strategy and bad car. Can't have both.
And he won a sprint race.
Oh my God! And he won a sprint. That's such a.
And he won a sprint race. Yeah.
And he won a sprint race.
How many sprint races did Mercedes win this year?
Mercedes won actual races last year.
This
year. I
year.
guess Ferrari won races too. This year.
Yeah,
but Mercedes is, I will say this, but Mercedes is more consistent. Like George Russell is just podium.
Are you one of these consistent guy? As long as I'm consistent, I'm good. I'm consistent. Second last, I'm good. I quite like that. But I'm consistent. Come on, man. I mean, this is a competition. You don't want to be consistent. You want to be good.
That's right.
Yeah.
But Mercedes has the second best. I would say. Would you say that Mercedes probably has the second best?
Yeah, the second best car.
The second best car.
Before you told me that Red Bull is as good, So I don't know where you're standing. Mercedes has got to be honest, Mercedes I think has got a better car than Ferrari in the moment.
Yes. And better strategy.
I don't think they need a better strategy because Ferrari messes the strategy up, so they've got an advantage without doing anything,
That's right. Yeah. Very good point. I'm pumping the brakes here. I think that next year will be the deciding factor of whether Lewis regrets this decision or not.
That's very weak. Already speaking about next year. We just started this year. Come on, Brian.
I think that he's not regretting it, but I think he's going in. I think that next, because listen, this year they're not going to win the championship. Neither is McLaren. Neither is Mercedes.
I'm second last, but I'm consistent, so I'm good. And you're already, you're already into this racing thing. Or next race will be a lot better anyway. And next year we will win the World Championship. Yeah, I said that so many times,
Yeah, but here's the thing: he's trying to get the eighth. That's what this whole thing is about. Is him getting
you guys
the eighth.
call me being on the fence all the time. One is, they are consistent, yeah, and one is like, next year it will be all good,
Yes,
I'm on the fence. How am I on the fence? I'm saying that he's regretting it fully. Mercedes is consistently on the podium, not consistently last. They have the second best car.
No. You didn't say he's consistent on the podium. They say they are very consistent. Yes, they're very consistent. Yeah. Anyway.
You're turning my words around.
I'm pumping the brakes, but I think that he's still feeling out this team. I liked that he was asking where he was slow. It was a little disconcerting that when he asked, where am I slow, they basically listed every single turn. That was a little bit tough to hear. That was tough. But I think that he's still counting that $700 million and feeling pretty good about looking good in red. I think that he's still there. We'll see next year how he's ultimately
still happy. You
feels.
think?
He's still happy.
There. He's still happy. Yeah.
So wait, question, Guenther. There was that moment where he asked, where am I slow? They listed all these turns, and then he said, but no, by how much am I slow? What's the? Because we were talking about this on our other episode, and people were saying that the engineers can't give specific driver intel. They can't tell him to brake later. They can't tell. Is that true? That you can't tell a driver? Is that illegal?
No.
Or you can?
It's not. You can now. Yeah, you can. You can do whatever you want. You can tell him what to do, and you can tell him where he's slow compared to the other one. If you've got people sitting there looking at the other lines of things to do, but it's difficult to do a 7-time world champion to tell him how to do different. You can tell him you're losing time in turn whatever, and more than all the other turns. And that normally defines then, maybe he says, maybe I'd have to take a different line. Maybe I have to, try to do something in that turn. But he just wants to see if there's anything specific, sticking out. That's what he wants to know.
But Guenther, so you're telling me, I know you've always said well, I'm not going to tell Lewis Hamilton how to drive. What the fuck do I know? But you're telling me that driver coaches don't exist in teams Tiger Woods has a swing coach. Why can't Lewis Hamilton have a driver coach?
I don't know why they don't. Some of them have got, it's one of these questions I don't have the answer, but it's very good because if I would be a driver, and some of the teams have got somebody sitting there but giving him analytical information, but not how to make it better. In the free practice, you've got somebody sitting there saying, hey, this and this guy takes it, goes in deeper or breaks earlier or things like this. They tell him, but they never tell the driver how they should do it differently. They just tell them what the other ones are doing. And sometimes these people are former drivers, but not at an F1 level. There is nobody of fame, as far as I know, doing it, But, For me, it's the same. And I brought that up quite a few times. Tennis players have got always a retired tennis player as his coach going around with him.
Right.
Maybe one day.
Watch them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they watch them and say, hey, I have played against this guy. If you play it like this, there is things you can do if you have got the experience. And but in F1, it is not happening. I don't know why.
There's a lot of talk about how Lewis has never gotten along with this, new regulation of cars. That he struggled at Mercedes, he struggled here. That the floor, the ground effect cars have never really suited him. Do you think he's can't wait for next year where the regulations are changing and it's going to be a different set of regs?
Yeah, and hopefully he likes that car. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Jesus.
He's got another problem,
Because there's all this talk this year about driver style. There's all this talk about driver style because it's that's all the talk about with the Red Bull, that Max is a very unique driving style, that, this is what happened with Ricciardo in McLaren, is that the car didn't suit the way that he drove, and who can adapt. You don't buy that?
Not really.
Interesting.
I'm obviously sometimes, some of these drivers came in and they just got used to it. They were winning and they think because I like this car. No, you were at the top of your game at the time and nobody else was better than you. And things change in life. You cannot keep always to be the best. Otherwise, you would have always the same world champion. No? At some stage, things are changing.
But how do you explain what's happening to Carlos Sainz? He didn't become worse in a year. It's just I don't think that however he drives is not fitting with how this car operates.
I think with Carlos, we need to give him a little bit more time. I think, I think all of our expectations were higher for him than he's actually delivering. I mean, I would admit that one. I didn't think that he will be behind. I always rated Albon highly, and but I didn't think that Carlos will be this much behind him. But I think if we give Carlos a little bit of time, he will work hard to get there where he wants to be, So. But again, let's speak in 5 races about it.
Okay.
Write it down, Jenny.
Giving him
5 races.
We're giving him a 5 race. We're giving him a 5 race extension.
And
on
then
the Fraud Watch.
we brutally judge him, We brutally judge
on the
him.
Wanker Watch. The Wanker Watch. The Wanker Watch.
He's on the Wanker Watch, yeah.
Okay. Vankahs, I have to tell you about our sponsor, True Classic. True Classic has one mission: to make guys look good and feel even better. And they've nailed it. The fit, the feel, the price across your entire wardrobe. Not just tees, but hoodies, jeans, activewear, everything you need to level up your everyday style. I'm not wearing True Classic right now, and I wish that I was, because this thing, it doesn't hug me like True, look at that. It's just not, it's not what True Classic, when I wear my True Classic, I feel tight, I feel comfortable because the material's amazing and it fits me. It's made to fit guys, to make us look best. But True Classic isn't just about great clothes. Their brand DNA is built on being highly intentional in everything that they do, from creating high quality essentials to making folks laugh with their hilarious ads to delivering Ritz-Carlton level customer service. It's giving back to the community that they believe in. Every detail is done with purpose. I've been wearing True Classic for a while. I was wearing my stuff this week. It's in the laundry right now. I can't wait to put on my True Classic tee, not to mention their underwear. Everything that they have feels good, quality is amazing, and the price is reasonable for once. Forget overpriced designer nonsense. Skip the cheap throwaways. True Classic delivers premium essentials built for real life. Grab yours at Target, Costco, or head to trueclassic.com/Vankah to get hooked up today. Let's get into Rockstar and Wanker for Japan. Guenther, who is your rock star for the Japanese GP?
Max Verstappen. You don't even need to finish the sentence, Max.
Legendary drive from Max. Guenther, who is your wanker for Japan?
There's no obvious one, in my opinion. There's no obvious one really doing badly. I almost... let's do Jack Doohan, not Mick Doohan, as I said before. Let's do Jack Doohan, because Mick wasn't there driving, And not because in the race he was okay, but what he did in FP2. I mean, I read somewhere that apparently in the simulator it worked and he tried to do it on the racetrack. Did you hear that story?
Yes.
I mean, wow. I mean, if nobody else is doing it and nobody tells you, going into that turn without DRS, that's pretty brave. I mean, it's brave, but wow, are you taking some risk here, buddy?
Right.
I have a question. you don't think he ran that by some people? Like, hey, it worked on the simulator. Like when he's doing it in the simulator, you don't think there's engineers in there being like, wow, this is working.
I just
try
because
it.
but
You think he went in there, didn't tell anybody? There was no.
I mean, for
There
sure,
was no-
somebody knew. The people in the simulator, the engineers, they knew about it, what he was doing, but maybe they didn't know that he was going to do it in the race or at the racetrack, not in the race, at the racetrack. But therefore, I'm a little bit, when I read that story, I want to find out a little bit more if it is true or not. Because if it is true, it's like, guys, whoa, that's a little bit, And why the good cars didn't do it is like, I wouldn't do it. I mean, that's what I say. To destroy a car like this, and the worst thing is, he risked to hurt himself because that cannot have been nice.
Yeah.
That was painful. But as
Now,
much
how
as
do
he
you
said he
think
was okay.
How do you think Flavio would have reacted to, but it worked on the sim? You think that would have flown with your friend Flavio?
If it would have worked, yes, but it didn't. That was the only problem. It didn't work. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, you destroy a car. And then it wasn't to win something, It is like you're out in...
It's like when my friend comes to me with a writing idea, and he's like, it's never been done before. And I'm like, well, there's a reason why no one's ever done this.
That doesn't make it right, huh? That doesn't make it right, I know a lot of shit which hasn't been done, and I don't want to be the first one to do it,
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Now, do you think that there's maybe an element of he's got Franco Colapinto breathing down his neck, that there's a ton of pressure on Jack to it, like that
yeah,
he's
but,
got.
But that doesn't help you out with pressure, Brian. I mean, if you do something like this, crazy, not to say another word here, this is crazy.
Right,
because for me, it's very brave what he did, but wow.
But sometimes when people are desperate, they do things that are crazy.
They
or
do
stupid.
desperate
That's
things.
right.
Yeah, they do desperate things,
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it doesn't work, it could then be the end of it.
Right.
Not only the end of your career. High risk.
Reward.
But here's,
Yeah.
but here's the thing. But wait, I have a question. But if you are Jack Doohan and there's things we don't know, but let's assume for a second that he knows he's out in 5 races. He's got to make a miracle. He's actually got nothing to lose.
No,
right?
but then I don't do something like
make a miracle.
This. Yeah, but then I don't do something like this because he will be remembered of this one.
Right.
You will remember this one because if it is true, again, he didn't tell me and he never said that. I don't think he said it officially that he tried it in a simulator and that's why he did it, Because if he forgets, it's like, dude, I mean, you should remember to close the DRS. But if you say, oh, I know it was open, fucking hell.
Which would piss you more off? He forgot. No, leaving it open on purpose would piss you off more, probably. Mick Schumacher left it open on purpose and crashed, or forgot to close it. Which pisses you off more?
It's they both piss you off, and then obviously because you cannot pick between them when one is happening. It's like but both are then what the fuck, they piss you off equally,
Okay.
All right. Let's keep it rolling. We're going to do story time, then some fan questions, and your predictions for Bahrain. Guenther, do you have any Japan stories to share with us for this iconic track?
For this iconic track where we fell all asleep on Sunday, yeah. Yeah, I actually got one. I've got always, most of the times, a story of something. I remember when I was at Jaguar a long time ago, I was with Nicky. We flew together to Osaka. And every time I go by that piece of that toll station, I just have to stop to smile. So we get picked up by this guy with white gloves, Toyota Crown. The old Toyota Crown, the square box with all the white things over the seats and stuff. This guy picks us up with a hat on, and we go on the motorway. It's raining. It's in the night, and it was a little bit of digital driving, and you're sitting in the back, and it's a 2-hour drive, a good 2-hour drive, and the big trucks go past you, it's like raining. It's like, it isn't fun, and Nicky, like, this guy cannot drive, and this guy's, whatever, this guy. For Nicky Lauda, obviously, nobody could drive except him, which, I mean, 3 times world champion. He got a little bit of credit there, So anyway, we are going, and he was like, and he was getting more and more aggravated. And I was like, yeah, Nicky, we're almost there. I was tired coming off this long flight. So we get to the toll station. Nicky jumps out and gets in the front, opens the door, and tries to take this guy out because he wanted to drive. So I'm on this toll station, this driver, Japanese driver, hanging onto the steering wheel, holding it like this, And Nicky, get the fuck out of here. I'm going to drive. Sit in the back. This guy didn't speak one word of English, And this guy was just speaking Japanese. I don't know what he said because I don't speak Japanese, And this was going. I was like, Jesus. I mean, if somebody sees, because obviously Nicky Lauda was quite recognizable, with his red hat,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Right. I had to be the guy which calmed down people. You know how that normally
Wow.
goes.
Yeah,
Nicky,
wow.
just calm down. It will be all right. Tell him to get out. I said, Nicky, I don't speak Japanese. What can I tell him? I was like, Nicky starts to argue with me instead of with this guy at some stage. It's like,
Yeah.
and somehow I calmed him down and got him back in the car.
Wow.
But every time I go by there, it's like it's deja vu. It's coming back, And it's like now I laugh about it. At that time I didn't laugh because I said, if somebody's around and takes pictures of Nicky Lauda fighting with a taxi driver, it's like that's not good. That's not good if you work for Ford Motor Company, So
Yeah.
Wow, what a great story.
Yeah.
So you got Nicky in the back seat, and then he, what, was he fuming the rest of the time? Was he mad at you?
no, not at me. It's just like, this guy cannot drive. He was keep on going. I said, Nicky, by now I know the guy cannot drive. I mean, it was, we got on very well. I mean, we were friends. So he wasn't,
wow.
How old was he at that point? Is this early 2000s?
early 2000s, yeah. So he was about 50, huh? Yeah,
Okay,
50,
so-
yeah.
Yeah,
Early
he still
50s,
had it.
maybe, yeah.
Still probably in the 99th percentile of drivers on the road.
Yeah.
Like, still probably better than any driver on the road.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
This driver, I mean, it was not comfortable. When you go on the motorway and you're on and off the throttle, and the big
that
trucks
makes
go
you
by,
sick.
it's dark,
Right.
it's raining,
Yeah.
it's you don't feel safe in there,
Yes.
But what can you do? But you should have
What can you
seen that
do?
guy hanging onto the steering wheel. Like
yeah.
there was no chance. There was no chance that he could get that guy out.
That's beautiful. All right, we got some fan questions here. This is from Hooray, it's MK. What's the dumbest question you've ever gotten from a driver?
I have to think now. I cannot come up with any of them. Maybe there were so many or none of them, So I think there were so many. No, I mean, I don't remember. I need to think about that one for the next one because
Are there things that like drivers are concerned about that like everyone else is like, it's just shut up, it's not that? I mean, obviously there's the questions about like, do I have the same parts as the other person? Blah blah blah. Like there was obviously those questions from Mazepin when you had him there, but are there certain things that drivers think matter that everyone else is like they don't matter? You're just an egomaniac.
Oh, there's a lot of them. I mean, with drivers always, if they don't perform, everything is questions which could make them look better than they are, So if they are beaten by their teammate, all these questions come up, as you just mentioned, Oh, I didn't have the same floor as this one. Is this floor?
Ocon said that today, that when he lost to Berman, he was like, well, the floors must not have been the same. And Komatsu was like, and Komatsu actually went out publicly and he said, nah, they were the same, bro.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
in 2025, the quality of these parts. I mean, in the old days, there was difference, because the manufacturing processes were not as refined as they are now. But now, these days, it is the same. Everything is measured to the tenths or the hundredths of a millimeter. It's not like that there can be anything. But it's in the head, But that's why it's very difficult to remember because anything goes, Or, when people say last year, it was like, who said that somebody's putting what in the tires, water in the tires or something like this to cool them? Yeah, it's like,
Red Bull
dude,
was saying that, I think.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, if you put water in, normally steams, the pressure goes up, not down, I mean, it's like, it's physics, it's not like, so... But they were convinced of it, Somebody convinced them that there is water in the tires to cool them.
This is from Ali Hikes. What makes a track good for overtaking? Japan was bad. What makes a track good?
I mean, it needs to be wide, and the turns is like the track. First of all, you need the width that you can overtake, and then you need to have braking zones where you can brake into and outbrake somebody. That's the most important thing. And Japan is so flowing so fast that you never have a proper braking zone where you can dive into the inside, or if you've got a really cars far into the onto the outside. That's what makes the difference.
All right, well, Bahrain's coming up next week. How's Bahrain as a track to pass on? You think we're going to get a more exciting race there?
Yes, it cannot be any duller than Japan, So I mean, it's always an upside, No, I think Bahrain is I don't remember which turns there are, but I think there is 2 places where you can overtake in Bahrain. It's always difficult to overtake with F1 cars, but there is a chance to overtake in Bahrain. And everybody tested there, so everybody has got good data. So we will see how competitive the cars are in a race. So.
All right, what are your predictions? Who's winning in Bahrain?
McLaren, and now I have to think who of the 2. I go for Piastri because I want that he's world champion, because I predicted him as world champion, so I need to stand with him, I cannot go against my pick, Piastri, Lando, Russell.
Matt?
Piastri, Lando. I'm going Kimi. Think he tested there? I think he's ready.
Matt's
otherwise,
Matt's stealing my prediction from our episode. He's stealing my prediction.
Oh, really?
I have the fastest lap.
I don't remember that.
I did, yeah. I've incepted you, dude. Sorry, go on, Guenther.
And he will have the fastest lap, Antonelli,
Right.
And that'll really be the thing. Oh my God. Kimi Antonelli.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, he said
I'm going Lando Norris wins. I said this in the last episode, Kimi Antonelli second. I'm going Oscar Piastri third. That's what I think is happening. I think Kimi Antonelli proves the people in Bahrain, not Japan. This is Vankah Hours. Guenther, we hope you had the most lovely birthday with us here at Vankah Hours. We love you. Happy birthday to... No, I won't do the whole thing.
No. Save me from this, please. I thank you very much, guys. I appreciate your efforts, but I can do without it.
Thank you, Vankahs. We'll be back next Wednesday.
See you, Wankers.
Goodbye, Vankas.
Play the music.